What is up, guys? Phaedo82 bringing you some footage from the first ever Rust charity event. A 12-hour event put together by the folks from Rustified and Rust with Lou to raise money for the Child's Play charity. This was a great event in which we were able to mingle with other Rust players, meet some of the devs. We got to chuck a stone at Gooseman's testicles, go through a cool maze that was put together by Mr. Chow, hang out at an awesome bar that was run by DOA, and go to an amazing art show. We played some games, we saw some sights, heard a lot of sounds, and had just a really good time with it. Because it is Rust, we did have to pull out that AK on a few occasions and mix shit up at the carnival, but a good time was had all around and it was for a really great cause. Well, you guys go ahead and enjoy some footage from the carnival event. We're going to talk about how Rust is at times a grand social experiment. It is a game, but at times it feels elevated and feels like it's more of a microcosm for how people act, or would act, or could act, or do act. I don't know, but it feels like something that we can learn from and that it simulates in some ways human behavior. Rust is a surprisingly difficult game to describe to people who haven't played it. We can always use terms like it's a first-person survival crafting game with base building aspects in a procedurally generated world. But Rust is one game that's really an experience that's more than the sum of its parts. To best describe Rust to someone who isn't a gamer, I'd have to describe it as a grand social experiment, one that puts players into a sandbox to interact with one another in any way that they see fit. Some key design decisions really propel Rust into a class all its own when it comes to player choice and freedom, with the exception of race and body type. Watching Rust footage for the first time, a lot of people are struck by the amount of naked men running around with their junk hanging out. It used to be strictly white, nude, bald men, but has since changed to incorporate other races with the addition of skin tones. A player's skin color and body type, including the size of their package, is predetermined by one's Steam ID. It doesn't give players the choice to choose how tall they are, what color they are, and this is a very interesting gameplay dynamic. It leads to some very interesting character interactions, and when race was first introduced into the game, some players were very stoked about it and felt as though they had a tactical advantage because they were a darker skin tone. Other players were very upset about it, really upset about it in some cases, and were almost struggling with this sense of racial identity. It was really interesting to see something like racial identity being replicated in a game, and by not giving players the choice to choose their skin tone, their height, their bone mass, their penis size, that creates situations in Rust that are really emergent and dynamic, but rooted in the human condition and very interesting to see. Humans are curious creatures in terms of how they compare to one another and how they measure up. At the carnival, we all lined up in front of a sign of Gary and compared penis sizes, and it was objectively determined that I had the smallest penis at the carnival, if not the smallest penis in the game. By having the characters' bodies randomly assigned to the players, it evokes in it sort of a sense of certain players being more self-conscious about their body, and that also is a very real human condition, and I find it interesting that it's replicated in Rust. Now you might say that doesn't happen, it's just a game, but it does actually play into sort of how we view the game. When players' bodies first changed and the bone density changed along with the size of the junk, there was actually a high pop server that I logged on, and there was a group of about 5 people chasing this guy, and I was like, what's going on? And they're like, dude, this guy just ran by and he had a micro penis. It was so small, and I was hot in on the pursuit at that point because I wanted to see it and laugh at it and point at it.
You got a tiny wiener, man, for a Negro. You
Oh,
got a tiny wiener.
hey man, you know, that's just a stereotype. That's just a stereotype. We don't all have a lot of pixels, okay? You know, some of us are just average.
Look at that shit, man.
The nudity in Rust really has an added psychological layer to it that's somewhat subtle, but being naked and exposed to the weather, to the elements, to other players' weapons, and seeing that symbolized in a naked character model really has some added psychological motivation and distress to it than it would if your character always had, say, cloth pants on or some bear hide whitey tighties or whatever it might be in other games. I was talking with fellow YouTube and content creator Rust with Lou, and he was saying that the first thing he does when he acquires cloth is he actually makes pants to cover his junk up. He knows he should make a bow, he knows that would be better for survivability, but he wants to be socially appropriate, so he finds himself making pants. This is another example of how Rust taps into the human psychology unlike other games are able to do. It should be very interesting when humans start waking up with vaginas when genders are randomly assigned to players in the future. Beyond simulating penis envy and racial tensions, Rust is also able to capture other aspects of the human experience because it has emerging gameplay that's really defined by this player-driven narrative. What that really means is, guys, that no game session of Rust is going to be the same because the people you encounter will change your experience greatly. Take a look at an example from a video from Holdacious.
Don't kill him. He can go through trial. He can go through trial.
Oh,
All right.
Thank you.
Listen to me. Bow. Bow before me.
Oh, yeah.
Bow before me.
Yes. Please just don't hurt me.
Swear
Yes.
allegiance to my pennies.
I do,
Swear
sir.
allegiance to my pennies.
Yes. I am yours to command.
I am the great Zenon, and you will fear me. Swear allegiance to my pennies. Swear to my pennies right now.
To your pennies?
That you will forever serve me.
Or penis. Or penis.
To my pennies.
Oh,
What is hanging in front of your face? My pennies.
I swear allegiance. I
Peasants.
swear allegiance to your
Peasants,
very
swear
gracious
allegiance.
penis. I swear allegiance. It is almighty.
What did you just call it? What did you just call it?
Pennies.
What
Pennies.
did you just call my pennies? You pronounced it wrong. Pennies, thank you.
I swear allegiance to your penis.
Move into the base right now. Move. Start
Listen.
running. Stop jogging. What do you think this is? You're on
Oh,
the clock, bitch.
I'm
Hurry
going.
up.
I'm moving.
Get inside that fucking room right now, you absolute disgrace.
This whole scene is a hard one to look away from. It's like a bad car crash. Holdacious has been captured by a group here with a self-proclaimed cult leader named Zenon, who's making him worship his penis, and he's now leading him into a house where he's attempting to brainwash Holdacious and make Holdacious believe and act as though he is Zenon's dog. It's a very dark, disturbing, almost voyeuristic piece to watch, and even towards the end of it, Holdacious is sort of questioning what it all means.
Sit down. Sit down.
I'm sitting. I'm sitting.
Down. Sit down.
I am sitting.
Bark like a dog. Bark
What?
like a dog right now.
What?
Bark.
Bow wow.
Bark.
Bark.
I've always wanted
Bark.
a puppy. You're gonna be my goddamn puppy whether you like it or not. Bark. God damn it. Okay, you're officially my dog now. Don't you dare speak ever again. Right, we're gonna go play fetch. Ready? Yeah, boy, fetch. Go on, get the ball. Oh, he's grown up so fast. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Yo, let's get a leash on this bitch.
Oh, this is so
I can
pathetic.
call you a bitch now, can't I, motherfucker?
Oh.
I can call you a fucking bitch now because you're fucking dog. Got that? You understand this? You understand this, bitch?
This is not a typical experience in a video game, to be taken prisoner and made to act like a dog. Rust is, in many ways, a social experiment and a social platform for us to do what we will with it. As we can see, the Child's Play Carnival is in stark contrast to Zenon's treatment of Holdacious, but at the end of the day, Rust is something that transcends the boundaries of a game and goes into this realm that is a social experiment. At times, this feels like it's a replication of Stanley Milgram's experiment or the Zimbardo's Stanford Prison experiment. In many ways, you can replicate those type of social experiments in the virtual realm by using a game like Rust that is so open to interpretation, and it can be used for really any purpose. It's a very interesting experience, and it's quite a ride, guys. As always, hope you enjoyed the video. Phaedo 82, peace.
Good boy.
Is this fucking happening
you like
right now?
Zenon, don't you? You love him. You love Z.
Is this fucking happening?
He's the good owner. Yeah, roll over.
Ruff, ruff.
Roll over. Roll over.
Only
Good
in
boy,
Rust
good boy. Come on.
would this
Come on,
happen.
heel. Come on.
Only in Rust.